Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, and Kumasi is on Love 99.5 FM and affiliates across Ghana, including A1 Radio in Bogatanga, Kalewo FM in Akachi. Also, you can download the My Joy Online app from Play Store and App Store to listen live on the internet. In this edition, newly adopted electoral reforms binding on all parties, including opposition NDC, which was absent at a meeting to adopt the new proposals. That's according to the Electoral Commission after just ended IPAC meeting.
IPAC is for all political parties. So the absence of one or two of them will not invalidate the decisions of the IPAC. That whatever has been discussed should be universal enough that everybody will toe the line.
We'll hear from the EC's Director of Electoral Services. Also, patients requiring laboratory tests left stranded at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital as scientists embark on a sit-down strike over appointment of 2 medical doctors to their department.
Patients going around searching for a place to do lab tests, all these things could be brought to a halt if management and the ministry could act on this matter and resolve this matter holistically.
We have details, plus tell you more about management, what they have been saying. Also, health authorities in Northeast region point to typhoid fever as cause of recent deaths in the East Mamprusi municipality and urge residents to stop drinking water from a contaminated source.
We look at the situation, we've noticed that the community practices open defecation, and because of the sloping nature of the community, it's uphill and the stream is downhill. So anytime there's rain, the rain washes everything downstream, and that is where they go to drink.
But with no other water source, how will the residents cope? We'll hear from Nadmo in sports.
We'll hear from Spanish football expert Guillem Balagi on the future of Barcelona star Lionel Messi.
And later in showbiz. One year after his Longer Junction album was released, Stone Boy to host a virtual concert this weekend to celebrate some of the greatest hits. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And this is your home of bold and fearless journalism. This afternoon, the Electoral Commission says the adoption of the new electoral reforms at the end of a 2-day IPAC meeting is binding on all political parties, including the opposition NDC. The Commission, as part of efforts to strengthen and deepen Ghana's electoral processes and elections, is pursuing at least 20 changes to Ghana's election process. This includes a continuous voter registration exercise and a change in the close of voting time. But the NDC refused to participate in the meeting as it accused EC chairperson of rigging the 2020 polls in favor of the governing NPP. We'll hear shortly from the Director of Electoral Services at the Commission, Dr. Srebo Kwekush. But first, here are highlights of the decision agreed upon at that meeting. Well, let's bring in Dr. Srebo Kweku. Thankfully, he joins us on the line. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News, sir. So among others, we've been counting the number of reforms and proposals that the EC has put forward for adoption. But first, the concern is that once this has been adopted by IPAC, there was one key party that was missing at that meeting, which is the NDC. Will it still be binding on them?
Once it is the decision of the IPAC, then it means that it's the decision of the IPAC. Whoever is a member of the IPAC is bound by it.
The concern really is that looking at the list of parties that were present at that meeting, including New Vision Party, a number of parties that there are concerns about. In fact, there are concerns that they are supposed to have 2 or 3 offices across the country as required by law. These political parties, can the EC say that they are in good standing?
As far as their names have not been struck off the political party list, they are political parties and they have been attending IPAC meetings.
Well, let's talk about the reforms then, because you insist that this is binding on the NDC. We are told that the NDC later today will be addressing a press conference on these electoral reforms. But let's talk about the reforms really that the EC is putting forward. What exactly are they? We've seen that you're asking that.
EC and the IPAC is not the EC alone. Some of the suggestions came from the IPAC members. So it's a decision of the IPAC, not the EC alone.
So what exactly are some of these proposals? Let's walk through them.
Okay. one of it is that the upper think that we can close our elections by 3 o'clock so that we can do the counting before darkness falls. If you follow the 2020 election, because of the numbers we have reduced the number of voters, we have also come out with a very smart BVD that is able to clear people within 2 minutes or less. By 1 o'clock, most of the polling stations were empty. So we are thinking that if we're able to close at 3 o'clock, where we believe everybody will have voted, and even if you have not voted you are in the queue, you are allowed to vote, so that we can finish the counting before darkness falls. The other one is with respect to the nomination deposit. They are appealing to the commission to have a second look at it with respect to the refund. As it is now, if you pay your deposit and you are a presidential candidate, you can only get the refund when you get the 25% of the total vote cast, total value vote cast. But they are saying that once the candidate is able to contest, we should be able to give the person some deposits. It's all under consideration. Again, the committee decided to see if we can reduce the deposit for females and people with disability. All this is also under consideration as part of the communique.
So I see one thing in the communique under elections, for instance, certified regional collated results should be announced by the chairperson to reduce tension and suspicion. However, the commission should state clearly the percentage of results yet to be released. Give me some clarity on that.
Yes, what came up was that if you follow most countries, they declare the results as and when they come in. Now we have 15 regions. The National Collating Center will be collating 15 results. So the suggestion which has been accepted is that if, let's say, one region, say, Ahafo comes in, once it is certified, then we can announce that Ahafo, this is the results. Then the next region comes in.
So it means that results will be announced as and when they come in, instead of putting all together and announcing at the end. But one thing missing.
If you add 3 regions, we say that as when we added the 3 regions, this is the results.
Okay, but one thing that I find missing from the proposal is voting in the diaspora. Has that decision been abandoned?
Yeah, it came up for discussion. We are still discussing the Europa issues, and we have not concluded all the arrangements. That's why we did not add it to the communique.
But interestingly, you were directed by a court for that to happen.
Now, yes, it came. We have not said that we will not implement, but the court gives order. You need to come out with modalities. It has to go to Parliament approval and the rest. So we are working on that.
Well, of course, we'll interrogate this further subsequently. Dr. Sribo Kweku, we are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. We've been looking at the absence of the NDC as well, but we're told that will not jeopardize the adoption of the reforms. Later on, the NDC will be addressing the media briefing, and we'll get details of that. But we can take a look at all the proposals that were put forward in that communique.
If Wakai wants to snatch a ballot box, we should find a way of stopping it.
Apologies for that. We'll bring that to you later. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. And several individuals, including 2 former members of Parliament, the Ashanti Regional Secretary of the governing NPP and the current mayor of Kumasi, are battling their suitability for the chief executive job at the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. A vetting committee chaired by the Ashanti Regional Minister is expected to recommend to the president the most suitable candidate for the job after listening to all of them. As my colleague Elton Brobe reports, the hopefuls are relying on their strength, support from the party and the traditional authority to win the vote of the committee.
The roll call includes the former Chief Executive Officer of the Public Sector Reforms, Thomas Kusibuafo. He says improving the working environment and the local economy within the Kumasi metropolis remains his topmost priority.
They modernize and improve work conditions. We also need to improve the working environment of the people. But I believe that we need to have a proper local government structure. It has a lot of programs in ensuring the improvement of the local economy. We know that most of the initiatives that are coming to support the local economy.
The current mayor, Osei SCBMP, who is bidding for renomination, is pushing the Health and Safety City initiative.
The agenda is to make sure we have a healthy and safety cities. And if you want to have a healthy city as well as a safe city, the most important thing that confronts us is our road. That is, how do we ensure road safety?
Mr. Osei SCBMP is facing stiff competition from 6 others. 2 former members of parliament are also pitching their candidature before the vetting committee. The former member of parliament for Nshieso, Kennedy Kankam, and the former 2-time MP for Menchia North, Collins Osu-Amankwa, are confident of getting the nod of the committee. Collins Osu-Amankwa, who chaired the Committee on Government Assurances, as well as Deputy Chair on the Defence and Interior Committee, says he has what it takes to move Kumasi forward.
There's a package that I have termed Kumasi Waste Elimination Initiative. And this is where we're going to apply technology to convert solid, liquid, and gaseous waste into biofuels, which will generate more income for the assembly and also the government.
Director of the Ashanti Regional Office of the Urban Roads, Nana Atapoku, who is also son of the late former Mayor Berima Akwesi Ajman, is also on the list, together with the Ashanti Regional Secretary Samuel Pine.
Well, that vetting process is currently underway in the Ashanti region. We'll get details of that. But there's a similar exercise also ongoing in other parts of the country ahead of the president's nomination. My colleague, presidential affairs correspondent Elton Broby, joins me in studio with a quick update on that. Elton, you'll be monitoring the situation in the Bono region, for instance. Give us a picture of how it's going.
So, in fact, we have nominees representing the German North District, Doma Central, Doma East, Banda, Tynes, Sunyani Municipality, Brekum East, Sunyani West Municipality, German South Municipality, Doma West, Wenchi, and Brekum West. So, 12 assemblies making the Bono region. We have 106 people who have put forth their candidature to be considered for this particular post. This is what is ongoing now at the Regional Coordinating Council. The event started at exactly 9 a.m. and they are hoping to finish it by tomorrow.
So what happens after this particular vetting?
So the process is that once they are done, the vetting is chaired by the regional ministers in the respective regions. They will then submit a report to the party, and the report will include members in good standing and those that, in their own estimation, are best fit for the position of district, municipal, or metropolitan chief executive. Then the president, out of the names, will then nominate one person, and that person will then have to go back to the assembly, secure 2/3 of members' vote for the confirmation of his or her candidate.
Okay, thank you very much, Elton Brobe. I'll take you back to the Ashanti region now, where patients requiring laboratory tests are as part of treatment have been left stranded at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. Medical laboratory scientists and allied professionals have today begun a 7-day sit-down strike. They are protesting the decision of management of the hospital to send 2 doctors to work in the laboratory. They insist professional members of the association who qualify to fill the 2 available slots have been sidelined for the doctors they argue should not be working in the labs. Ohiming Terrier has the rest of the story.
The over 300 members of the association comprise laboratory scientists, laboratory technicians, and laboratory assistants. They argue professional members of the association who qualify for vacant positions have been sidelined. Members at an emergency meeting on Wednesday resolved to stay off duty.
We are beginning a sit-down strike where we will come to work, but we will not work. So no patient sample, no sample from anywhere will be worked on in our labs in KATH from tomorrow, Thursday, 20th May, up to next week, Wednesday, 26th of May, 2021. They are clinicians, we are laboratory. We practice laboratory science, they practice medicine. The 2 are different by law under Act 857. And so all we are saying is that they should be in their lane. They should practice their medicine and also leave us to practice our medical laboratory science as defined by law that was passed by Parliament in 2013.
The action of the association is expected to affect diagnosis, investigations, and treatment of patients at that teaching hospital. The hospital is also expected to lose revenue if the strike is protracted.
Well, my colleague Ohiming Terrier has been following up on that. He'll join us with the very latest on this, but he's been speaking to the laboratory scientists on the impact of the strike.
I'm not a happy man, because if I am happy with what is happening, probably this strike would have happened 2 years ago. We are not happy because we decided to dialogue for good 2 years, but management, the ministry did not heed to our call. That's what has brought us to this stage today. So it's an unfortunate situation, yes, but we pray that even as the strike is in its early hours, authorities, the ministry will come in and resolve matters for us so we can quickly resume work and stop this needless inconvenience and needless patients going around searching for a place to do lab tests. All these things could be brought to a halt if management and the ministry could act on this matter and resolve this matter holistically, so we all have a resolution to it and then follow whatever resolution comes out from the ministry, and then there'll be peace.
Well, they insist that they should not be blamed for this exercise. But of course, my colleague Ohiming Terrier joins us on the line. So, Ohiming, we know that management has written to the lab scientists. What specifically was the response to the concerns about their members being sidelined for these doctors?
Come on, MFA.
Okay, so I'm asking about that letter that has been written to the lab scientists by management. What specifically has been the response?
From the management of the hospital, they did not state specifically that they will be withdrawing the two medical officers posted to the directorate. But what management did say is that they have forwarded the issue to the Ministry of Health and awaiting the response of the ministry. But before then, they asked management asked the striking scientists to rescind their decision to embark on this industrial strike. But that was not heeded to by the scientists who announced yesterday that they will be embarking on this sit-down strike. And lo and behold, today, indeed, the labs at the Confanoche and Mafi are empty, though they are there. Some are hovering around. The patients are not receiving the needed attention as they are from the laboratory scientists, MFA.
Well, on patients being stranded, I know you put this question to the laboratory scientists, whether they are not concerned at all. What have they been telling you?
The president of the CAT branch, Mr. Ernest Bedu-Boatin, tells me, yes, they are concerned as human beings, they are concerned as workers of CAT, but this is what they think should be the right way to push management to resolve their issues. Once management has reneged, there is the only option left for them now. We can take a listen to Mr. Ernest Bedu-Boatin.
We are always seen as the weaker point or the underdogs, because laboratory has always been seen as a place where doctors can easily colonize. You know, we are so struggling to even get placement for some of our professional cadres, like those who have done Doctor of Medical Laboratory Science, same CCA degree program as MBCHB. But we are struggling today to get them placement. Those who have done specialties, consultants, and we are struggling to get them placement. So we are always struggling. We are always seen as the underdogs. And so when we back, it's like we are treated with disdain. We are treated as if we can't act on the issues that we have raised. So based on that, we also have to show management that yes, we don't just talk in vacuum, but we are ready and we are resolute to carry out whatever mandate that the GA has given to us, and that's what has brought us where we are today.
That's Ernest Bedu-Boatin, the leader of the laboratory scientists there at the Confanoche Teaching Hospital. We'll stay a while longer in Kumasi because anger and frustration have characterized day 2 of the COVID-19 vaccination exercise in some centers in Kumasi today after an unsuccessful attempt to start the exercise yesterday. Residents complained the exercise moved at a slow pace due to inadequate data registration systems at centers, including the KNUST Hospital. The situation forced patrons, or some of whom joined queues as early as 4 a.m. to engage in arguments.
You know the problem. You don't come and ask me. You know. I don't know. Go there. Go to the table and ask them the problem. I was here yesterday the whole day and today too. Come on.
This morning I come around 6:30 again. Yesterday I came 20 to 6. We left from here 5 o'clock just to be promised something and it is not true.
What do you think is the problem?
Me, I don't know. Nobody tells us exact problems. We only know we are going to work for you people. That's all.
Well, Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko has been monitoring the events at the vaccination centres today. He joins us with more. Erastus, has vaccination finally kick-started because the process was hindered yesterday due to lack of materials?
So all the materials came in this morning and they have started. But there's a problem with the input of data into the system before people take their jobs. And that is what is causing this frustration.
Well, but I'm sure I heard you interact with some of these residents who have been engaging in argument. Has that situation been resolved?
Well, that is still the problem because there is just one tablet issued to this particular center. We have over 500 people in queue, and each of them is going to have their data keyed in by this personnel only, and it takes hours to get that into the system. And that is what is keeping people in line for a very long time.
That's my colleague Erastus Asare Donko. Our top stories here on the Midday News. Newly adopted electoral reforms binding on all political parties, including opposition NDC, which was absent at meeting to adopt these new proposals. We've been hearing from the Director of Electoral Services of the Electoral Commission. Still to come, health authorities in Northeast region point to typhoid fever as cause of recent deaths in the East Mamprusi municipality and urge residents to stop drinking from a contaminated source.
We look at the situation, we've noticed that the community practices open defecation, and because of the sloping nature of the community, it's uphill and the stream is downhill. So anytime there's rain, the rain washes everything downstream, and that is where they go to drink.
Also, we have sports, and then later in showbiz, 1 year after his Angloga Junction album was released, Stone Boy to host a virtual concert this weekend to celebrate some of the greatest hits.
Party, 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 party. Everlasting. Yeah. Really would
This bulletin is live in the Volta region on Jubilee Radio Keta, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa Radio in Joje, Radio Hogba in Angloga, Klenam Radio Bato, Victory FM Aplao. In the Eastern region, we're on K-Poly Radio in Kofrodia. In the Northern region, we're on Bishara Radio, Radio 123 and Radio Justice in Tamale. And in Savannah region, we're on Inkelege FM in Bole. In the Upper East region, we're live on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga and Radio Fumbese in Fumbese. In Upper West, we're live on Radio Sonmale in Wa, Radio Freed in Nandom, Radio Wa in Wa, and Bolu FM in Bolu. In the Bono East region, we're on Gaskia FM in Techiman. In Bono region, we're on Sky FM and Parrot FM in Sunyai. Central region, we're live on ATL FM in Cape Coast. And in the Western region, we're on Radio Max in Takrady.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Let's do sports. Hans Spenzando has the latest.
And in Barcelona star Lionel Messi, we may be looking potentially at the transfer of the summer if the Argentine decides to move. Spanish football expert Guillem Balage, however, suspects Messi is waiting to hear what Barca have to offer before he makes a decision on his future. Balage was speaking on PM Express last night with my colleague Gary Al Smith.
Messi is not stupid, and he knows that it will be hard for any other side that is not PSG or Manchester City to take him. He knows that making that move is something that he had decided on last summer, and that brought tears to the family and tension. But he's waiting to hear what the offer of Barcelona is and then make the next step. But there is no clue whatsoever of what he's going to do next. You're about to say, when is he going to hear? And we don't know, because Barcelona has got 4 audits going on at the club. They're all bringing very bad news financially. And then how they're going to manage to get money? Well, they actually got a loan. Hold on, they've got a loan of 500 million euros, half of the debt. So they can pay from wages to the players. That's the situation at Barcelona. So the love of Messi is what will keep him at the club, and Laporta hopes that, that's enough.
I'm sure Barca fans will be hoping above all hopes that Messi decides to stay with Barcelona. You heard from Spanish football expert Guillem Balage.
Thank you very much, Hans. Now, health authorities in the northeast region have identified typhoid fever as a cause of recent death in Bambozuo in the East Mampusi municipality. The authorities have a field inspection in the community, said a stream there, which serves as a source of drinking water, was unsafe and accounted for the 5 deaths in the community. Regional Health Director Dr. Abdullahi Abubakar also advised the residents to intensify environmental hygiene and improve sanitation facilities in their homes.
Came and look at the situation. We have had, we look at the situation, we've noticed that the community practiced open defecation. Even whilst we're in the Chief's Palace, children were dotting it around. And because of the sloping nature of the community is uphill and the stream is downhill. So when they defecate or all the, poor environmental practice that we have seen, anytime there's rain, the rain washes everything downstream. And that is where they go to drink. And when we got there, we saw there are 2 boreholes just by the stream. And the women will walk past the borehole to the stream. Their reason is that the borehole water is not sweet. But we stress in a meeting in the community, we made them to understand that the safest water for them is the borehole.
Well, now a father of a 14-year-old student who allegedly committed suicide in Sunyai has discounted claims she killed herself. Letitia Chre Pinaman is alleged to have hung herself at the school's dining hall on Monday night. The death of the JHS final year student of Miracle Educational Academy at Bakuniaba in the Sunyani municipality has left many in the school and her family in shock. Cindy Treme is her schoolmate, and she says Letitia was moody on the day of her death.
Tisha is a person who doesn't want to share her emotional feelings with anybody. She wants to keep things to herself. She wants to find her own solution to her problem. She was in class. They rang the bell for breakfast. She didn't come out, so I decided not to talk. First break, I asked her, Tisha, let's go and eat. She said she won't eat, so I personally came out to buy food for her. She didn't eat, and later on I saw her eating. I said, that's fine. But I didn't talk to her. She was there sitting, putting her head on the table. Teachers were asking Tisha why. She said nothing.
But father of the deceased insists his daughter's death cannot be described as suicide. Here's why.
At the regional hospital, we took some pictures and we found out that there is some mark inside his left arm. Indeed, something untoward has happened to my daughter. And after the examination of the doctor, we found out that he has not urinated and he has not feces herself rather. Nothing untoward of that sort has happened. And the tongue is intact and the eye is closed. So those say that he has committed suicide is neither here nor there. I don't believe it. And from there, we do not cite any letter indicating that he herself has wrote any letter indicating that he is on pain. And on the letter, the supposed letter, they are saying that he is on pain and he has some necklace, which they should give that necklace to somebody called Silicon.
Well, our Bono East regional correspondent Precious Semevo has been following up on this. He joins us on the line. So, Precious, we've been hearing from the father who suspects there's more to this, but you've been speaking to the police as well. What have they been saying?
Yeah, so the police has been cautioning both school authorities and then the family to be cautious of what they say. And they are saying that they will go to every length, they will explore every scenario to ensure that they get to the bottom of this. The alleged notes, suicide notes, notes in her diary, and other things will all be taken through the right procedure to ensure that they get to the bottom of this. Now they are waiting for the postmortem. The pathologists will soon be in, and then that will be done to confirm how she died.
That's my colleague, Precious Semevo there. It's time to join Mapito Sibidi with what's happening in the world of showbiz.
All right, MFA, Stonebwoy is to have a virtual concert this Saturday to celebrate his Anlonga Junction album. Anna Edeng.
Anlonga. Say
Anlonga.
it again.
Anlonga. Mede kuku.
streaming online, and we're concentrating on that virtual. But we're giving like an opportunity to people because to come in there, and experience the vibe as well, whilst you can also stream at home. More of, if you're around assignment and that, you can touch by the shop areas or call 05017 70,000, to get a pass or something.
My baby, fine thing. Everything's stubborn. They say every woman be a superwoman. Okay,
International woman.
Akpe.
Okay, that's right. Cool. That's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. Stories you've been reading on myjoyonline.com. Angry Cath laboratory scientists lay down tools over appointment of 2 medical officers. Also, all 44 colleges of education threatened to shut down by end of May over lack of funds. We've also been hearing from Operation Halt, Stop Mining at Night. Minister tells illegal miners. That and more on myjoyonline.com. Faithfulness, Part 2 is the title for today's Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil. I am Emefa Apau. Thanks for your company. Have a good day.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can put the money in your account.
Hey,
oh, Dada, MTN will never ask you for your PIN. Never reveal your PIN to